Hi, everybody, and welcome to English Digest. I'm Pat.
And I'm Elsie.
And today we're taking a look at this month's writing unit on graph writing. So we're going to learn about how you can write about a graph, some kind of chart, the best ways to describe the information, and then use that information to write some kind of opinion, some kind of thought piece on what the graph shows. So today we're looking at a graph that compares two things. It's a different kind of graph than you might have seen us use before, but it's all based around reusable cups for drinks. So Elsie, do you have one of these?
Yes, I do, but I rarely use it
when
I go buy drinks outside from a drink shop.
Okay. I have one right here in front of me. It's a Starbucks metal coffee mug, and I've been using this for about 5 or 6 years, I think. A long time, and I pretty much always take it with me when I go to. I don't buy as much coffee from stores. I'm making it by myself. But if I'm out, I will think, okay, I might buy a coffee when I'm out. I'll bring my mug. Because, yeah, you get the discount, you save on waste, all of that sort of stuff.
Right, you get discount too. So look at what I have now.
Okay, you got a bottle with a straw in it.
Yeah, I just don't have the habit bringing my own cup with me. I think I have to do it.
Yeah, once you start it, you do it for a month. It just becomes automatic. And same with we've got some cups at home for collecting. Cold drinks as well, some big sort of solid plastic cups that you can reuse again and again. Most of which my wife used to work for a Starbucks in Vancouver, so she brought home a lot of these different types of mugs, cups, flasks, and everything.
Oh, I think you mentioned that before.
Yeah, so that's why we have all of these, and it's certainly now very useful because with all Taiwan's changing rules about it, great, we've got as many cups as we need.
That's good.
Okay, so let's start by looking at a bit more into this topic that the students that you guys are given to write with. The instructions do relate to some news from last year in Taiwan, because there was a nationwide rule requiring most beverage shops to offer discounts of 5 NT or more to customers who bring their own cups. Now, this started in July 1st, 2022, and then there was, I think, another change in December that said that shops couldn't start using single-use plastic cups anymore. They had to change. And this was all thanks to the Environmental Protection Agency, the EPA, their new rule. Now, this means that a lot of people will want to go and buy reusable bottles and cups. And we've got a radar chart here, and this shows 2 brands of reusable bottles or cups. So the idea for students is to first describe the chart in detail and compare the 2 brands. That's your first paragraph. You just say what you see. In the second paragraph, the idea is to talk about which one of the 2 cups you want to buy and why.
今天的提示呢，同学们要注意到咯。我们说的是自2022年7月1号起，环保署规定于指定的通路自备环保杯购买饮料，则可以享有至少5元的折扣。那为了响应环保，有些人可能会想购买可以重复使用的环保杯。本图表示2个不同品牌的环保杯，请依照图表的内容写一篇英文作文，文长至少是120个单词，文分2段。第一段要注意哦，我们要描述和比较2个品牌。第二段描述在这2种环保杯当中，你想要选择哪一种，并且说明你的理由。
So we're going to be using simple present tense to start with because the graph is here, it's in front of you. We can say it shows, not it showed. And we're also going to use present tense and first person in the second paragraph because it's what you want. I want this cup because I need this, I do this, not because I needed or I did.
没错，在第一段描述图表的时候因为图表就在你的面前，所以呢，我们要用现在简单式。那第二段在描述你的选择是哪种，也是你现在的想法，所以一样以现在式为主。那再来到了 develop and approach 的地方，第一个我们要注意到的是呢，本篇为图表写作，图表写作所呈现的是统计的数字、事实、数据分布的情形，还有调查或报告的说明。那常见的步骤是呢，第一个，你分析图 表之后，确实描述图表所传递的主旨。第二个，解读图表的内容，描述图表中具有意义而且值得描述的数值，或是比较其相对的关系。第三个，描述自身的相关经验，适时加入自己的看法或是推论，以呼应主题。
So with a chart, you need to describe what you see. Now, the main thing is to start with what the graph is trying to tell us, okay? So don't go into the details straight away. Give a general idea. So you'll include things like the title of the graph, explain what's being measured or shown. After this, you explain the trends of the graph, and then go on to explain what it means beyond the basic facts you can see. Now, there could be different ways to interpret the results,But in general, for this kind of writing exercise, you will get a clear graph to explain. It's got a clear point or conclusion. And towards the end of this part of the paragraph, you might be adding your own thoughts. Now, in the second paragraph, you'll be giving your personal opinion. So this is pretty straightforward. You just use the evidence in the graph to support whatever idea you have.
第二个，如同一般文章的起承转合，图表写作的内容必须要完全符合图表中的资讯。首先呢，你要清楚的理解本图表的主题是什么，这是很重要的。图表中的5条轴线对应的要件分别是什么，你也要知道。其中的相异之处有哪些？那依照提示说明，第一段描述图表内容的时候啊，可以比较2个雷达图的相异处。第二段则是将自己的选择融入写作，说明自己比较喜欢的环保杯是哪一款。
So the idea is to make sure you're explaining your graph clearly. Imagine that somebody is reading your paragraph, but they can't see the graph. They need to understand generally what the graph looks like, even if they either can't see it or only see it briefly. So don't leave out anything important.
第三个，除了内容要流畅完整之外呢，文法的结构、组织、字词的搭配、修辞等技巧的自然运用也都很重要。先要求呢，正确使用字句来描述数值的变化，再来尝试运用不同的单字来表达，增加文章的深度。与其挑选艰难晦涩且难易不协调的字词，或是复杂易错的句子，不如用简单易懂的字词和清楚有把握的句子才是比较好的哦。
So when we do this and describe a graph, there's a lot of different language we can use. Things like the graph shows or from the graph we can see. So you use a lot of these transitions and conjunction sort of phrases at the start of your sentences to explain what people can see in the graph.
没错，可以用这一些表达的方式来带出图表所显示的内容。除了 Pat 所提到之外呢，还可以用像是 the graph displays。那如果你想要说的是图表的主题，你可以说 the graph is about。那如果你想要带出图表显示的结果，你可以用 according to the graph, we know that.So
graph writing is a bit different from other kinds of writing, but you still need some of the things that we would put in all of our writing sample articles. You still need an introduction to tell readers what the graph is about, a body to describe it, and a conclusion to show that you've finished talking about the graph.
每个段落当中呢，都要有自己的主题句和结论句。那在介绍图表的时候也是一样的哦。
And in the second paragraph, we do need a topic sentence to show you are making your choice between the two things. There's a body of supporting details to explain your decision, and there's a conclusion in which you either finally make your choice or just bring it back to the topic sentence, this is why I choose this cup, or whatever.
没错，到了第二段的时候，一样我们要有主题句，要有 body， 还有最后的结论句。这些结构呢，你要牢记在你的脑袋当中，是不能忘的。
So let's quickly look at some of the details on the chart. We've got 2 cups, brand A and brand B. And in this radar diagram, it looks like a radar. The big circle is a radar, and the different shapes they make depends on the strengths. If something has a very strong rating in a particular category, then it can go all the way to the outside, score of 10. If it's not so good, then you'll see it closer to the center with a score of 2, 4, something like that.And it allows you to compare these two things. Okay, this one's stronger in this category, this one's weaker in this category, this category, they're about the same. Our categories are, is the cup easy to wash? Does it keep drinks hot and cold? What about its color and style? Does it close properly? And is it light and easy to carry around?
这边的雷达图呢，我们看到有分 A 品牌跟 B 品牌。那我们的项目在看的是呢，第一个易清洗的程度。好，那往右边是保温程度，再来是外观、密封程度，还有就是轻便的程度。那我们接下来就要到 brainstorming time。当我们遇到2选1的问题的时候呢，我们可以利用优劣分析表。所以看完雷达图之后，再利用优劣分析表来找出最佳的选择。你可以在纸上画一个象限图，看完题目之后，把你想到的优缺点分别列出来，最后呢，再把这些东西写进你的 outline。
So the graph is almost half of your brainstorm. All the details are on there, and you can just write about them. You can put them in a chart to kind of just organize that thought a little bit and explain what the graph says so you understand it. But you will need to brainstorm a bit for your second paragraph so you can decide which one to pick. So we've gone for, in our magazine, a chart that shows the pros and cons of each cup. The advantages are on the top, the problems with each cup are on the bottom, and then each cup are on the left and right, so you can easily see which cups got what, which are cup A's advantages and so on. So for cup brand A, the advantages are that it looks stylish, it's lighter, and it's easier to wash, whereas brand B's advantages are that it doesn't leak and it keeps the drinks hot or cold.
是的，在这个表格上面呢，你看到有 advantage 有优点，还有 disadvantage 缺点的部分。那左右两边分别是 brand A and brand B。那刚刚 Pat 介绍到的是两边所列下来的优点。那缺点的部分呢 ，for brand A, we see that it doesn't close properly, it doesn't keep drinks hot or cold efficiently. As for brand B, it doesn't look that stylish, and it's heavier.Right,
so this does look like a fairly obvious choice. One of them looks really nice, it's easy to carry around and use. The other is a bit more awkward to use, but you get a much better kind of drinking experience out of it because nothing is spilled and it stays hot. Depending what kind of person you are, you will prefer one or the other.So now let's put this into the right order of sentences. Of course, we can connect the sentences and add more details later. So paragraph 1, the introduction is just going to talk about what the graph is. The chart compares 2 different brands of reusable cups. So very efficiently there, we've introduced the topic, explained what the graph is doing, and explained what kind of cups these are.
是的，我们刚才提示当中看到啊，第一段你必须要描述跟比较两个品牌，所以它这边第一段的主题句是带出图表，在比较的是2种品牌的环保杯。
So then we have all the details about these cups, quite a few here. A, this is just about the chart. It judges them, the cups, on 5 different categories. B mentions brand A scored an 8 for its looks, while brand B only scored a 5. Now, it's good to put the numbers in here. Again, that helps people who might not be able to see the chart by giving them a clear, okay, 8 out of 10, 5 out of 10. C, brand A is lighter and easier to wash, so that's more of a general trend than an exact number. Brand A doesn't close properly. That's interpretation of what the chart says, and you give it your own idea. Brand B is heavier, but it doesn't leak. Again, you're putting your own conclusions to what the chart says. Brand B can keep your drinks hot or cold. Brand A doesn't do this as efficiently. So we've gone there from using the actual scores to say for the looks, which one looks better, to you following the graph and the numbers given to go, okay, this score means this. This does this thing better than A does something better than B, and so on.
根据图表上面的分数啊，我们可以把它换成这些句子。那我们在看到的是呢5个部分的分析啊，就是刚刚我们说过的那5点。那接着带出 Brand A 和 Brand B 的优点和缺点，客观分析之后，紧接着我们才要到 Paragraph 2第2段去描述在这2种环保杯当中，你想选的是哪一种，还有记得要说明的理由。
So you can do either way, really. You could just give the plain scores for everything. Brand A scored 8 for this, brand B scored 5. Brand A scored 4 for this, brand B scored 7. However, if you write like that, it's going to look a little bit more just like a basic list. It won't be wrong, but it won't be as interesting as if you give a bit of interpretation, which is why the writer has said, it's lighter, it's easier to wash. This one doesn't close properly. You'll see a lot of comparative adjectives, comparative adverbs. Doesn't do something as efficiently. And those kind of direct comparisons are more interesting to read than just, oh, this scores 5, this scores 4, this scores 7, this scores 6, that kind of thing. So now we move on to the person's choice, and we see the next body, or the body paragraph 2, has the topic sentence. Personally, I want the things that I use every day to look nice. For this reason, I prefer brand A's cup. So the topic sentence has got the choice. The choice is made. We add more details in the body of this paragraph.
主题句的部分呢，我们看到它是带出自己的选择是什么，也同时带出了理由。那接下来就要到 supporting details 的地方，去看看到底是为什么他会做出这样子的选择。
Yep, here are the supporting details. We have A. I usually carry my tea or coffee and drink it quickly, so the lighter cup is perfect for me. And of course, because they drink it quickly, that means they're not worried about the tea having to stay hot or cold for a long time. We then see B. Brand B's cup is difficult to clean.
在 A、B 两个 details 当中呢，你会发现这个作者他是以轻便易清洗来做选择的。好，他因为这个因素去选择了这个品牌的环保杯，也就是 Brand A 的环保杯。
Yep, and our conclusion brings it back to the topic sentence. That's why I would buy Brand A's cup.
所以在结论句的部分呢，他再次叙述，重申一次他自己的选择。
So the outline doesn't have to include that many sentences. It just gives you your basic structure. The outline, you then add to it as you're writing. You add more details, add more transitions. Just follow that logical, sensible structure. Don't leave out any details. And that's why you do your outline first, because you can see in your outline, I've got too much information. I don't have enough information. Doing that when you do your outline saves you time because you won't have to rewrite your whole essay. You can just rewrite your outline, which is much quicker. Okay, we're going to take a short break now, and when we come back, we'll be reading through our 2 samples and then looking at a bit more detail at some of the words, grammar, and ideas in those samples. Welcome back, everyone. We're now going to read through our samples, starting with the basic sample. The chart compares 2 different brands of reusable cups. It judges them on 5 different categories. Brand A's cup looks really stylish. It scored an 8 for its looks, while Brand B only scored a 5. Brand A is lighter and easier to wash. However, it doesn't close properly, so it must be held at all times. Brand B is heavier, but it doesn't leak, so you can put it into a backpack. It can also keep your drinks hot or cold. Brand A doesn't do this as efficiently. Personally, I want the things that I use every day to look nice. For this reason, I prefer Brand A's cup. I usually carry my tea or coffee and drink it quickly, so the lighter cup is perfect for me. Brand B's cup is difficult to clean, so I wouldn't find it as convenient. That's why I would buy Brand A's cup.
这一篇呢，基础范文非常的简洁易懂。那在第2句的地方呢，我们看到一个相当重要的用法，它用的是 judges them on 5 different categories. Judge something on something else, 那就是根据点点点来做评判。好，你可以用这个用法带出你要写的内容。那再来呢，我们还看到的是 Brand A's cup scored an 8. Score 这边当然当动词用，代表的是得到的分数。所以它这一句话呢，带出了他在雷达图当中看到的分数项目。接下来呢，我们看到连接词 while， 它带出 Brand B 得到的分数并不是这么理想，做了一个对比。那要做对比的时候啊，记得要善用 用 transition words， 也就是转折词是很重要的。那我们还看到 however 也在第一段当中出现。那第二段他要带出自己的选择和理由的时候，他开始用的这个字 personally， 我们可以跟他学习，也就是他要带出自身的想法。
So this basic sample includes all the details. It includes some reasons to say why the disadvantages of cup A aren't important. I don't need to put it in my backpack, says the writer, so it doesn't matter if it doesn't completely seal properly. And I drink quickly, so I don't really need it to keep it hot or cold for a long time. And there's also a few synonyms in here to make the writing look better. So instead of just saying good looks, we've got its looks, we're saying it looks nice, we're saying it's stylish. There's a lot of different ways to say it's attractive, and varying the language makes your writing seem a bit nicer. We also have the word reusable. Now, we've kind of been talking about this from the start, and it's pretty obvious from what the word is. Reusable, able to be reused, able to be used again and again.
这个形容词就是我们从头到尾一直在讲的 reusable， 可重复使用的。
Yeah. Okay, so that's the basic sample. It's nothing too complicated. Let's see what the more advanced sample has to say. Let's read through the advanced sample. With the introduction of discounts for reusable cups, many people have begun to purchase one for themselves. This chart compares the qualities of two different brands of reusable cups. Each characteristic of the cup is scored on a scale from 1 to 10. Brand A's container ranks high in style, whereas Brand B's cup ranks only a 5 out of 10. In addition, Brand A is praised for its ease of use, as it is both lighter and easier to clean than Brand B. However, Brand B is excellent at maintaining the temperature of the drink, as well as closing properly to prevent leaks. Both of these cups offer very different experiences for the user. In my honest opinion, the most important element for a reusable cup is the ability to keep my coffee hot or cold. I lead a very busy life, so I don't always have time to drink my coffee right away. Therefore, I think being able to get my drink of choice to go and then put it in my backpack for later is really convenient. Style and colour are not as important to me. While Brand B's cup is both heavier and bulkier than Brand A, I will mainly be transporting the cup in my bag, which helps to alleviate the burden of the cup's size. With these points in mind, I would happily purchase Brand B's reusable cup. So we've got more details here, more support, more reasons for why certain advantages are more important and disadvantages are less important. There's a slightly more thought-out argument in the second paragraph as well.
没错，那在第一段的地方呢，我们也看到它比起基础范文多放上了时空的背景。那这个时空背景是呢，因为有折扣，所以大家现在都开始买自己的环保杯。那再来呢，我们还看到第一段有一个字很重要，是 characteristic。这个名词呢，代表的是特性。好，所以它在讲到的是两种环保杯不同的特性。那评分方式啊，我们看到它说的是 on a scale from 1 to 10， 也就是从1分到10分的评分方式。那这个细节的叙述呢，是在基本范文当中没有看到的。那再来，我们看到基础范文当中用 while 带出两个相反的事情、相反的项目。那在进阶范文当中，我们看到的是 whereas 这个字。那第二段要带出自己的选择和理由的时候啊，基础范文我们用到的是 personally。那在这里我们看到的是 in my honest opinion。So
one reason why this sample is more advanced is because of the more different synonyms and ways of saying things. For example, in the first paragraph, you could just say that A is better than B at this. A is better than B at this. But look at the variation here. So we've got something ranks high in style. So we've got rank. Something is praised for this thing. So that's another way of saying it. Brand B is excellent at this. That's a third way of saying it. And so there are just more variations with not just words, not just adjectives, but full sentences and phrases to say the same thing, but in different and more interesting ways. then there's a few other important sort of high-level words here. We're going to go through some of these now. The writer talks about getting their drink of choice. Their drink of choice tends to mean their favorite drink. It is the drink that they choose most of the time when there's a choice. It doesn't mean that they choose it all of the time, but 9 times out of 10, if they go into this particular coffee shop or restaurant, they go, okay, I know what my favorite drink is. This is the one I get pretty much every day. Some days, sure, I'll change it, I'll vary it. Maybe it's very hot, so I'll get a cold one, or very cold, so I'll get a hot one. But my drink of choice is the one I mostly choose.
是的 drink of choice 指的就是你的首选，你优先的选择。
So if I go into any coffee shop in Taiwan and I'm just getting a cup of coffee, my drink of choice is hot black coffee, just a black plain Americano. What about you, Elsie?
Me too, actually. But I prefer cold.
I get cold in the really hot summer, but and then only if I'm going to be outside.
Yeah.
Because often if I'm working in an air-conditioned room, I still want a hot coffee.
Right.
So next we say the cup is heavier and bulkier. B's cup is heavier and bulkier. Heavier just measures the weight. It's how much something weighs. But bulky is all about size. If it's a bulky cup, it's not just heavy, it's kind of big, it's a little bit awkward, it's got a lot of mass to it. A metal cup is going to be bulkier than a plastic cup, and a big cup with a big screw-on lid is going to be bulkier than a light cup with an easy flip-top lid.
Bulky 这个形容词代表是体积大的、庞大的。那在我们的第二段当中啊，我们用到的是比较级。那你会看到它写的是去 y 加 ier 的用法 bulkier， 所以 brand B 它比起 brand A 还要来的体积庞大。
But this doesn't matter to the writer because they carry the transport, or they transport the cup, I should say, in their bag. Transport here is just a more nice synonym. Instead of I carry the cup in my bag, it becomes I transport it in my bag, and this alleviates the burden of the cup's size. To alleviate something is to make it a lot better, a lot easier to bear and deal with. It doesn't completely get rid of it, but it certainly makes it kind of so it doesn't bother you so much. If you have a headache, you take a headache pill, some medicine, some painkiller to alleviate your headache. If someone's really busy, you might say, let me help you. I'll alleviate some of your work by doing a job for you to make it easier. I'm not completely taking it away, I'm just making it a lot better for you.
Alleviate 这个动词呢，代表就是减轻、缓和。
Okay, and that is the end of our samples. 2 different arguments, 2 different people with different opinions, and a few different ways to write basically the same kind of information about 2 cups. Just saying one is better than the other, but as you've seen, there are a lot of variations that you can use to describe which is better and why. And that's all we've got time for today. Thanks very much for listening. For English Digest, I'm Pat.
I'm Elsie.
And we'll talk to you again soon. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.